Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Yesko. I'm sure Joelle might have explained to you guys. I'm sending a recording. Right now I'm probably at one of my kids' baseball games, and so I'll be joining really soon so that I'm able to answer questions. But this recording piece will just be the presentation portion of walking you guys through the certification process. I'm going to recommend that if any questions come up as I'm going through the PowerPoint in this video, that you enter your questions in the chat so that you don't forget them. And then once I'm able to join via Zoom to answer your questions, you can just read them to me as you go through. And I think that's maybe a good way to catch all of the questions for when I'm able to hop on and join you guys. All right, so I'll get started with PowerPoint. Um, All right, so we're going to be talking about applying for New York State teacher certification. The process itself really isn't too bad, but it is really helpful to have some guidance. New York State Education Department is always changing things. And so if you are planning to apply for certification later down the line, I would recommend checking in with my office, the Pi Center, to see if there have been any changes to the way that you should apply. Um, this information is current right now. I don't foresee any changes in the next, couple of months, but certainly always a good idea to reach out. And I'll share our contact information at the end of the PowerPoint. So, in New York State, as you all more than likely know, you need to apply for a New York State certificate upon completing a program that leads to teacher certification to be employed in a New York State public school. I have here stating that you certainly can start your application prior to completing the program. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, and then you can submit it once you've graduated. Certificates show that you've met the degree, coursework, assessment, and experiential requirements for your profession. There's two types of certification in New York State. There is initial certification, which you receive when you complete your program. When you receive an institutional recommendation, which I'll also talk about, when you've passed the required exams and completed all required workshops and have fingerprint clearance. Some of these things you guys may have already taken care of. And then you have a professional certificate, which is the final type of certification needed in New York State, which allows you to basically keep your certification through the duration of your career. And you receive this when you have earned an acceptable master's degree, which I'll talk to you guys about, when you've obviously met all of the requirements for initial, and when you've completed 3 years of paid full-time classroom teaching experience in the grade levels and content area that you're certified. So that's always an important thing. The years of experience have to be in one of the areas that you're certified in if you're certified in more than one area. Your mentored experience also takes place during those 3 years as well. You have a year of mentored experience. First and foremost, apply for graduation. This is something that most of you are really well aware of, but if you are haven't done that yet, I would say to get started on that. I believe late applications for this semester are due May 14th. Um, I'd also really recommend, we have tips sheets on the Pi Center website that guide you through the entire certification process from start to finish. So basically everything that I'm going to walk you guys through today, you're able to find in one really nice guidance sheet. And so in order to find that, you're going to go to the Pi Center website, and that's this website right here. And you will scroll down and click on apply for certification or find a program code. You will then click on applying on teach cheat sheets, and you guys will click on undergraduate programs, that folder, and you'll find your program. I'll just click on the childhood and special ed, just so you guys can see what it looks like. There's really helpful tips and information and links throughout the entire document. And I recommend highly that you read through this very carefully. Make sure that you're following the steps uh, uh, carefully. I'm also going to show you guys just while I have this browser open, just to make sure that you guys are taking all of the exams that you need, and just so that you know what's needed for your certification. The search certification requirements website through the Office of Teaching Initiatives can be really helpful. And so you're going to select for your area of interest. For all of you, it's classroom teacher. And then I'll just do childhood education as an example. You'll select childhood, you will select childhood education grades 1 to 6, and you'll select initial certification. And then you'll see all of the different pathways that can earn you that certification here. For all of you guys, when you do this search, it's going to be the approved teacher preparation program pathway, and you'll be able to take a look and see everything that's needed to earn that certification. Including the tests that you need, right? So you would need completion of a program, that's our program, an institutional recommendation, which I'll talk about. You need the EAS, so all teachers need the Educating All Students test. And then for any area that you're getting certified in, there is a content specialty test. So there's a content specialty test for childhood, for early childhood, for special ed, for English, for mathematics, for social studies. So then you also need the DASA workshop and your fingerprint clearance. So just another resource to check out to make sure that you're checking all the boxes for your certification. Oh, I didn't mean to stop sharing. Whoops. All right. Um, all right, so your first step is you're going to log into your Teach account. This is the Office of Teaching Initiatives website. I've got the link right here. Enter your username and password. This is what your Teach home screen looks like, and you're going to click on Apply for Certificate. This is all important information that I'm not going to read to you guys, but it basically outlines the different steps and the information that you need to know in order to apply. Highly, highly recommend that you read through this and make sure that you're doing everything correctly. So step one, you're going to update your personal and education information. This is just a screenshot to show you guys an example of what these things look like. So you'll edit personal info and edit education. You'll be able to add information and make sure that everything is up to date. When you update your education info, this is what you are going to select from the drop-down menus. So United States, New York, SUNY Albany, you're completing a baccalaureate degree, you are completing, so when they say major, they only allow you to choose one, and I fully understand that some of our programs lead to certification in more than one area. Essentially, because this is the self-reported part of the application, you can just choose one. So if you're in the early childhood, you can select early childhood or childhood as your major. You can't select both, so just pick one. Your graduation date, which is gonna, our degree conferral date this semester is May 18th. Enter the date when your program was started, enter the date when it will be completed, and the number of credits needed for your undergraduate programs is 120. So this is just an example of what it looks like. Because this is an example, I think I selected childhood education and a master's degree. Obviously, you will select the appropriate fields for the program that you completed. Then the next step, so you'll hit add, and then on the next step, you're going to select the certificate that you are applying for. And so keep in mind that if your program leads to certification in two different areas. So our early childhood program, those are two different certification areas. Our childhood and special education program, those are two different certification areas. You will need to complete a separate application for each of those certification areas. And then this is what you're going to choose. So you see these drop down boxes right here. If you are in the Bachelor's of Science in Adolescent Education, this is what you are going to select from each of those drop-down menus, making sure to select the appropriate content area, and then basically just filling in these fields. This is what you will choose for the early childhood. As I noted, you will need two separate applications. And then this is for the childhood, and down here is for early childhood. The childhood and special education program. We've got childhood up here and special education down here, and everything that you should be choosing from the drop-down menus. These are the program codes that they will ask you for each of the programs. Next, you're going to sign an affidavit with information, basically just checking a lot of boxes and filling out the appropriate fields and signing. Um, and then the last step is to make a payment, but you are not going to do this yet. If you want to, you can start all of these things now. You can wait until it's a little bit closer to graduation. But the one thing you are not going to do is pay for your application yet. You can complete the application without paying while you're waiting for the institutional recommendation. I'll talk about that in the next couple of slides. And again, there is a link on the Teach homepage that's pay for a certification application if you're returning later to the site. So you don't lose any of the progress that you've made in completing the application. So a very important step that some students forget, so listen very closely to this part, is to request an institutional recommendation. Uh, the recommendation from us is an important and necessary part of the application, and it must be requested so that we have permission to access your personal record or personal information to enter it into your Teach account. A recommendation from an institution is not a letter of recommendation. It's basically just us going into your Teach account and confirming that you did, in fact, complete the program that you say you did. Because otherwise, anyone could say, like, hey, I did the Bachelor of Science in Adolescent Education at UAlbany. And there would be no way to check that. So we have to go in and say, yes, this student did complete that program. You can request this recommendation at any time, but we cannot enter the recommendation until we see the degree conferred on your transcript. This usually happens anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks after grades are due, which is May 19th of this year. Um, and so it won't happen right on the day that the degree conferral is listed. So you might not see the recommendation in your account right away, but keep it, just be sure that I am always watching to see when the degrees are conferred and entering the recommendation as soon as I'm able. This is what that page looks like that you'll have to go to request the recommendation. You will click on teacher, leader, or school psychologist certification, and you'll fill out the online application to have us enter the recommendation for you. Um, Even if you aren't planning to apply for certification right now, or like let's say you're planning to move out of state and you aren't going to apply for New York State certification at all, still request the recommendation. It will be there in your account if you ever need it in your Teach account, and it doesn't expire and it doesn't go away. So we highly recommend that you request that recommendation. Um, Okay, you should wait until the recommendation has been submitted to pay for your application and Teach. This is a recommendation coming straight from New York State Education Department Office of Teaching Initiatives, because there have been some technological issues with their system where students who have submitted, some students in rare occasions, but on occasions, have been placed on the wrong pathway when they've submitted their application before the recommendation was entered. And it has really slowed down the certification process for those students. So um, only pay for the application once the recommendation has been entered. You can check to see if a recommendation has been entered by going to your Teach account, clicking on account information, selecting college recommendations, hitting submit, and seeing, you would see a recommendation from UAlbany in the area that you are applying to be certified. If for any reason during the application process they're asking you to select a pathway, the only pathway your application should be on is the approved teacher preparation program pathway. You can always check the status of your application using this website. It gives you really great information on what the different statuses mean. So, like, not ready for review, review complete, pending information. It'll tell you exactly what all of those things mean. And also, the view evaluation history, this link right here for any application is really helpful because it'll tell you exactly what requirements you do and do not have as part of your application. And just lastly, to speak about master's programs. So if you are planning to teach in New York State, you will need to pursue professional certification, and that means earning a master's degree. We have a lot of great options here at UAlbany, and you have 5 years from the time that you earn your initial certificate to earn professional, which means, as I mentioned earlier, a master's degree, 3 years of paid full-time experience, and your mentored experience. There is guidance on the New York State Education Department website on the requirements for certification or for professional certification, the master's degree requirement. The first option is typically we would recommend option number 1 or 2. You're more than welcome to read a little bit more about option number 3. Sometimes that option requires additional coursework beyond the master's. But option number 1 is completing a program that's been approved to lead to a professional certification. And option number 2 is completing a master's degree in the area of the certificate or a related area. So related areas include special education, curriculum and instruction, educational technology, literacy, bilingual education, and TESOL. Basically, completing a master's degree in any of those areas allows you to progress any initial certificate to the professional level, because they're considered by New York State to be related to all areas of certification. So we have programs that are offered online. So if you're planning to start teaching right away, we have options that might make that easier for you. We have programs that add certifications if you're interested in adding an additional certification area. And this is a really helpful chart that I'll send this PowerPoint to your instructor who will share it with you so you can take a closer look. But essentially, it lets you know what programs we offer, the certifications that you need in order to enter that program, and then the certifications that you leave with upon graduation. So the ones that I've highlighted here are the ones that students from our programs would be eligible for. Um, and so we have our master's in childhood education. This is something that any of our students with certification in childhood are eligible for. This is a fully online program. We have our master's in curriculum development and instructional technology. This program is a really great option on, content delivery and incorporating technology into your teaching. This program is also fully online, and you can enter this program with initial certification in any area. So all of you would be eligible for this program, and you would earn professional in your areas of initial, in all of your areas of initial if you have more than one certification. And that's the same for any of these programs. So if you complete a master's program, any of these highlighted, you're able to earn certification in both areas if you're certified in more than one area. The master's in early childhood is an online program offered to those with initial in early childhood. Our master's in educational psychology and methodology, this program is offered as a related master's to certain content areas. It's not a fully online program, but a great content area to study. Same with the master's in general education. It's for students in our bachelor's in adolescent education, not a fully online program, but certainly a great option. Our master's in literacy is highlighted in green because it allows you to add an additional certificate. So anyone can enter, any certified teacher can enter this program, and they would earn professional certification in their areas of initial, and they would also uh, earn literacy certification for all grades. This program is also offered online. The Master's in Reading is a similar program in that it has a literacy focus, and you can enter it with initial in any area, and it is also offered online, but it does not add the literacy certificate. And the main difference between those two programs is a practicum requirement for the literacy masters. Our master's in special education inclusion is a special education focus master's for those with childhood education certification. It doesn't add special ed certification. It does lead to professional in childhood. Our master's in special education, we recently updated this program so that students with initial certification in any area can enter the program and earn certification in uh, uh, special education. So our students from any of our bachelor's programs can enter this program and earn special education certification. And then the last one is our master's in special education and literacy 1. That's for students with childhood ed certification, and it allows you to add both special ed and literacy for all grades. So that's an overview of the master's programs that we offer here at UAlbany. But if you have questions about master's programs, please feel free to reach out and we can let you know which ones would be good options for you. Um, our office is a great resource for certification questions, but I did include my personal email. A lot of times with very like specific certification questions, it's best to just reach out to me directly. So my email address is here, and then NICED has basically like a help function where if you need help with the application portion, there's a contact form that you complete to request help. All right, so that's a lot of information, and I will be joining you guys shortly if I'm not already there. And so please feel free to enter any questions that you have in the chat, and you guys can read them back to me once I've joined the Zoom. So, all right, thank you all very much, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Let's